So we have amidst us a leader in his own self who's going to come and share his views on leadership and how it adds value to the process. Can I have Captain Rakesh Sharma, who is the Senior Vice President at Tata Teleservices Corporate Real Estate and Chief Ethics Counselor, to talk on the leadership skills that significantly contribute to the value creation process. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Captain Rakesh Sharma, please. After you, sir, that was ladies first. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. There is one guy saying it's sharp, there is one guy saying good evening. And I know this gentleman for a long time. He's one of the most smartest, mischievous speakers in the FMSS community. So beware of this gentleman sitting in a blue shirt. He will try to give us something, right? Hopefully, right? So continue with that, sir. Motivation is appreciated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you, and thank you to GACS for giving me the opportunity to speak to you once again. Special thanks to Veer Saxena and my dear friend Rakesh Sharma. Right, they have been typically my lighthouses in this journey that is now nearly 33 years. The idea of standing in front of you today is to have conversations. The conversations which will typically make you understand the nuances of what we do and what we have already gone through, and will make us understand of what we missed in this journey and improve upon it in our last innings. I have 29 minutes and 40 seconds to complete this exercise. I will try my best. Should there be any concerns that are making you raise your hand and ask me a question, you can do that anytime during your presentation. If you think you can hold on, the morale, motivation, then hold on till the 30th minute, because I am present here for the next 4 hours. I'll try to answer that as much as possible. On a lighter note, it is typically to buy insurances, because the kind of questions you will ask me, I would not have answers. It's to avoid embarrassment to me that I will typically write to answer those offline when we meet. Fair? Fair? Yeah. I am here also to understand from you as to what got you here today evening on a Friday evening, 11th of October. And I will randomly pick up people, different age, color, caste, gender. Because if we don't even know why we are here, my speaking for the next 30 minutes is going to waste time and opportunity. So I go to the gentleman who's having a serious conversation with his colleague, who also happens to be a dear friend of mine, Kohit, and I had the honor of working with him. He now works for a large company. Yes, Kohit, what got you here? And this is not a planted question, I just saw him talking to someone. Anyone who's speaking will get right his attention. That is why he got my attention. Otherwise, I didn't notice that reason. What got you here?
Sir, I understand from you, sir.
What got you here? Next 30 minutes are serious. Fun is over. Fun is over with those people who were talking there. Fun, they will manage the fun quotient, we manage the knowledge.
Sir, there are two important.
Good.
There are two important aspects which we have to understand with the present environment of changing dynamics in both microstructure and macrostructure both. The first aspect is to understand how in the infrastructure business, because I have been there in this business for some time abroad. So we have to understand how we are going to build on the microstructure and also on the macrostructure.
Wonderful. So why we know why Wahid is here, and some of us will agree with him. People say you should never wear colors that will get attention. Why are we here?
Understand about microstructure and macro And what
This is given answer.
so we are here to understand that what is actually going in the market, like how we need to write a new technology and new processes, innovations. Because it's not that I get, because it's a demanding thing.
This gentleman will do well in his life. Mark this gentleman who thinks on his feet. And then I'm in love with some people who come in from my community and I have a question to ask. My opinion. Never sit on a corner seat in a hall.
No, it's not like that. It's my first seminar to attend here for GACS, and I'm looking forward to understand the updated one, how and what is the challenge we are facing over here in President Mann.
Watch out for Mr. Singh in the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, if anyone still wants to answer this question, can raise his hand or her. Yes.
I'm here to hear you. And this micro to macro may be a bonus to me, but I was there to hear you.
Bless you guys. These are the kind of people who make me uncomfortable. And I don't know what to answer, what not to answer. I'll try to answer as much as I can. Ladies and gentlemen, on a serious note, I am particularly proud and happy for a set of people who are following us in the FM transport real estate perspective. Jatinder was one, Tawheed is another one, and I'm talking about the generation which is following us. Nikant Bhalla is one of them. But it is not easy to follow. So some of us who I have followed, right, are also here. And I was introducing it to His Excellency, my dear friend, Umesh. Most of you may not agree, but unless and until you don't learn from the people who have done it, let me tell you, burning fingers is very, very difficult in our function. Umesh stood by me some 19 years back, didn't even know each other, there were no platforms available. But he stood by me and told me how things are done. I have always considered him to my guru, my mentor. I also have Deepak Kolyan sitting with me, my comrade in arms. I also have Colonel Sam sitting with me. What I am trying to build upon in the last 6 minutes that I have been speaking in is, all of us know it. But how many of us know how to gift wrap it is something that I will try. What you have to do, you have to do. But how do you gift wrap it so that it becomes, right, something that each one of us can look up to is something that I'll try to showcase, and that's what my next 25 minutes are. I promise you there will be some stories. I promise you there will be some videos. Some of you may have seen them. I try to change them, right? And I also promise you that there will be a particular slide that you need to focus on. That's the last slide. And it is not the slide that I showed to people when I was speaking on 5th of September in NCR. It's a different slide, so hold your horses. I'm trying to rush up some of the slides, not because of time issues, but because you know it. And there is no point showing you the mirror. But we will try to see as to what was missing in it, and we will try to improve that. That's something that we will try to do today. I try to do it in 2 parts. If as business leaders, if as community members, if we don't follow and set our house in order on ethical culture, we cannot navigate the business challenges. And what is the ethical culture? Ethical culture, ladies and gentlemen, is something which is staring at us. Each one of us in our companies is being followed by thousands pairs of eyes, literally, if not metaphorically, right, every day of our existence of how we conduct ourselves. In the 1950s, the problem was a little different. People knew what to do, how to do, less number of people, right, the sizes were small and we were able to do it. Kuch hota tha, pata nahi chalta tha, the world was not connected. But look at it now. What's happening now? Now, that's the expectation that the society has, and that is the expectation that we have as leaders of our team members. Before, what happened in a few companies which comes in newspapers is nothing that I'm going to talk about standing here because we read the same newspapers. This is what, right, guides all of us when we speak about ethics. I want each one of you to ask yourselves when you are in a doubt about whether a particular conduct is ethical or not. Only we as individuals can do that. whether a particular conduct is ethical, whether you are willing to have any contemplated act appear the next day on the front page of local newspaper. And I am not quoting something out of whack. In the last 19 years, there was on the headlines of Economic Times, of the newspaper that we read in Gurugram. I don't want to name them. It was there. That was just one of them. And if we within the community know, believe you me, every third person is someone, right, who is today under a scammer. Would you want to lose a 60 lakh, 70 lakh, 80 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh job for a 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 or 100,000 rupees worth of gift, or right, unethical conduct that one of our vendors want us to do? Because it will be read by our spouses, children and friends. I'll show you the data. The same thing that we will do will be read by our children, friends and family. And hence, would you want to be part of that, or would you want to follow the business ethics? And in context of FM, that's what it is. Are you aware of what we need to do as part of your code of conduct of the company that you are part of? Are we compliant? Are we communicating enough to our teams? Do we have a review process? And do we refresh and re-energize ourselves? And this is some tonic that needs to be given to each one of us every hour by our own selves. No one else does it. Because we will be part of the misconduct, not someone else. That's the report of our company, quarter on quarter for the last 6 quarters. This is where the company employees of FMSS function got caught doing what they were not supposed to be doing. We looked at it. Who reported? Our own employees reported. Our own employees reported, helpline numbers reported, business partners reported, and some anonymous and customers reported that this gentleman, this team, this company representative takes money from me, asks for IPL tickets, wants to go on a cruise, Singapore, Mediterranean ride, or an Alaskan cruise on my money, wants to go on a business trip, but also wants to have one of his colleagues travel with him or her at my expense. When that happened, that's where it came into. Bribery and corruption was found to be the reason amongst the FMSS community, besides dignity and respect, integrity of information and assets, and not giving equal opportunity to people. When we looked at it, it was not confined to one part of the country. When we looked at it, this is what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, with due respect and humility, the part of 11 is general managers, vice presidents, and senior vice presidents of the company in question. Imagine if that is what was happening to them, what would be happening to their team members or teams. And when we looked at that, this picture is not very good. So, Rajesh told me when you are speaking, Rakesh, it is all right to speak of experiences, but also give people the tools. So one tool that I just gave you, right, was an ACC PR tool. I'm now giving you another tool, right, that if you have to follow a process, then you have to follow a process and then have proposed milestones to basically talk about this. I have been lucky to be part of Wipro, Oracle, and now Tata's. Both the code of conduct of the companies that one has been part of is not just black and white. In my language, we call it whiter than white. Anything which is grey, ladies and gentlemen, is black. You may think this is okay. You may perceive that it is okay, but it is not okay by the people who typically will evaluate you as part of investigations. Companies like KPMG, EY, right, are having forensics team who typically may not even let you know because you sign every morning on that small little certificate when you log in your times, right, that I allow the company using the company assets to have a look into as to what I'm doing. They do forensics that you can't even imagine with your hard disks. So if that is what to be avoided, then this governance model, which is on an ongoing basis, has to be deployed by you as leaders, by all of us as part of the teams that we represent. Your opinion counts, ladies and gentlemen, and hence it is important that you need to ask yourself, am I where I need to be along with my team? Because if this is not there, navigating business challenges is not easy. I picked these up, right, and bibliography is the second last slide, right? You will know where I picked it up from. I'm not a smart guy. I just collate things well, I connect my dots well, right? Avoid noticeable displays of affection with vendors. You may not have anything, but someone who typically looks at you, right, putting a hand on the shoulder of a broker who walks into the office, and both of you then go into a meeting room where no one knows what you discussed, and you come out, right, shaking hands and hugging each other. No one needs to know what happened. Why was the third party not there? Why was the door not kept open? Why did you not come back and tell people what you spoke? Basics. With the posh laws, right, in the country now effective 2015, please imagine how easy it is, right, for us to speak to a lady colleague. You want to speak to her, there is 9 to 6. Why is it that all presentations where the young ladies have to only happen at 7:38, when you fully well know that some of them are single mothers, some of them are unmarried, some of them are, right, not so lucky to be the way we are? Why only that, and why do you have to keep a hand on their hand and subsequently explain them how the mouse works? And these are instances that were investigated and acted upon, ladies and gentlemen. These are not stories I'm talking to you about. So governance has to be on an ongoing. When I looked at the sources, the National Business Ethics Study again carried it out. They carried out all these: abusive language, email and internet abuse, looking at the pornography, violation of safety regulations, right? The show covered it so very well here. Giving and accepting bribes, price fixing, and the ones in red are the most critical ones, and that's why I put them in this slide. I'm not saying we do it. I'm only saying the data on the table says it, that 89% of people whose occupational hazard is dealing with vendors have been found doing it by the study conducted. That's all I'm saying. Are we part of it? I'm not saying that. Can we be part of it? I don't know. So all of us as leaders need to go dwell upon this particular thing before we start talking about managing what we manage. The group that I represent carries that as part of a process. And hence, this is what some of my friends from Tanish thought the best way to explain what I'm trying to speak about. Volume, please. is basically to explain as to what companies are thinking, and the people in question in one of the companies was a senior vice president who typically lost his job. Once you have put the platform in place, now start talking about measuring it. And how do you measure? People who are your audience, in my case was 7,343, that was the posted strength in that year. We were able to get 89% of the people respond to an external survey on how ethics is done. In spite of the best of efforts that we thought we were putting on the table, our name does not exist in top 1. In some places where we thought leadership engagement was well, environment for ethics was well, awareness and training was well, ethics counselor role was okay, systems and processes were working, we were either number 2, number 3. In a group of companies of 30 that we had evaluated against 30,000 employees within the Tata Group. What I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is the journey is difficult. Please begin the journey, because this is going to take a minimum. This is my 9th year in the company and I'm nowhere close. On a scale of 1 to 4 that we measure ourselves, we are nowhere more than 1.5 to 1.9, not even touching 2. Please begin the journey if you want to navigate the business challenges. Building an ethical culture, as I stated, is an ongoing process. And when I speak about process, that is where I start getting into the business challenges as to how as FMSS we need to do that. A minute. where now the twins come in. Navigating business challenges, ladies and gentlemen, is easy because this is what is in front of us. As FM managers, that's what we are supposed to be doing. Controlling costs, customer centricity, managing our part costs, benchmarking, and then marketing of facilities management. I've highlighted two because of the time that I have left, but otherwise, offline, we can discuss the other things as well. The young lady is yawning as if she has not slept. And I am that boring, you can please tell me. That's the lean management tool, ladies and gentlemen. You have a strategy to do, you know what to support, you know what your connect is, you know you handle electromechanical, you handle space, you handle EHS, it needs to be a sustainable model. That's all it is. That is it. That's a Six Sigma tool. It's called the lean. Align the team KRAs around it, you have an answer. Every day try and fight a fire, right? You will be a good firefighter, but you will never become a good statistician. How do you control cost? You control cost, and I have listed majority of them that we handle 90% or 95% of it, right? Prioritize it. Register the projects which are with the CFTF. You say, I do a lot of work. Please do a lot of work, but also let the others know that you do a lot of work. And who are the others? The others are your finance guys, your legal guys, your audit guys, your customers, right? Your BUs, the business units that you support. Tell them that you have registered the projects and you are working on a Six Sigma platform. How difficult and easy it is? Please ask any of the colleagues who have done that. It is cakewalk. You can learn it in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. It's all common sense, as what the video just said. Process is nothing but the way to write what you do. That's process. And once you write, then it is to review. Definitely share the deltas. Never tell the teams who work with you, give them the credit, but share the deltas to say we were not successful. Never go back and say we are the people who know it all, because we don't know it all. And that's where your humility, and that is where, right, your workmanship is appreciated, to say they do so much, they work on a process, they are a Six Sigma guys, they are all CFTF oriented, but at the end of the day, they are humble. Let me tell you, as you go up the ladder, humility takes you places, degrees don't. Customer centricity. If you don't meet your customers on a daily basis, and I did this maths some months back in another conference I was speaking. 10,000 people I had to serve in a company. I had 50 people working with me. 50 direct reports across 84 locations. What did we do? We looked at number of days available, 20. What am I doing? Maths. 10,000 divided by 20 is how much? Quick guys. 10,000 divided by 50 people is how much? 2,000. 2,000 divided by 22 working days is how much? 100. Correct? Correct? Number of people every individual had to meet every day. Every day, 10. Time spent, 4 minutes per person, 40 minutes of the 8.5 hours working to meet everyone. That's what these people did. They went ahead and targeted to meet 2178 employees. For that month, they only met 1,600. Number of employees interacted, 13,000. Concerns received, 98. Next month, what's the number? 2185. Target for interaction, 1,800. Number of employees met 1,000 again. Number of concerns received, 98 versus 70. And that is how that decline happens. People see you, whether you do a huddle, whether you go meet them, whether you have a connect to solve tool, whether you basically just speak to them right when they are doing a pizza party and ask them, where do you think I need to improve? And for that, you need to be speaking here. If you aren't passionate about the job that you do, you can never go and stand in front of the people and ask, where do you think I need to improve? And once you do that, you review it. This data, when you review it, you come out to this, that something is going right in one-to-one employee interaction. You do level-wise interaction, which means you meet your VPs, you meet your GMs, you also meet your senior managers, and your customer executives, and you meet them across the region. Concern categorization and function-wise interaction, because that's the way you slice your data, both vertically and horizontally. And when you do that, the sales force tells you to come and do market visits with them. Then you know why they are in pain. Then you know when they come back what you have to do, because you are part of their entire journey. Whether in summers once, winters once, or during the monsoon once, if you do that, you tell me where would you land the FMSS schemes that you are part of or leading to the next level. And that's what we did. We identified the people, we understood the markets, upper north, west Bengal, Rajasthan, Bihar, Jharkhand, Mumbai, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, everywhere. And when that happened, I'll show you the results later on, right? What happened was AC Nelson did the internal customer satisfaction survey among 17 departments in the company, year on year for the last 3 years, and said these bunch of people know the job. First year was flash in the pan, everyone thought. Second year, everyone thought they knew business. Third year, they started realizing this team is good to go. Start doing business. Energy management, most of us knows. Again, I'm using a tool right in here, DMAC. D is the define the problem. That's what I said, common sense. M is measure the problem. A is analyze the problem. I is improve the problem. And C is keep it in control phase. Tawhid, who happens to be here, and some other colleagues who have worked with me, we have gone through this. Wherever you find that I'm overstating facts, please kindly to let me know so that I will underbuild this next time when I speak wherever I speak. I always have an audience, some of the people who have worked with me, they're not happy working with me, right? Because they typically sleep for less than 3 hours and make me sleep for only 2 hours. But that's life. Because there is not even a single case of reported death due to lack of sleep. Google? Anyone can Google? Hard work will never make you die. You can only grow. We did some cost managements. These were some of the key takeaways. Plus minus a few numbers here because I am in a public forum. Obviously, I can't be sharing the right numbers with you, but numbers were in the ranges that I'm sharing. To manage this, you covered that, right? This is part of the Tata Code of Conduct. If we don't speak about safety, we are not ethical in our companies that we are part of. Assets will come and go, business will come and go, people won't come and go. If people die, that's what Ratan Tata at some point of time in one of his statements said, I'm not concerned about how I grow my business, I'm concerned about how I take care of my people. And that has flowed into the Tata Code of Conduct. My TCS colleagues are sitting in here, we read the same Tata Code of Conduct, refreshed version 2015. And that is one of the paras he has devoted in only how to manage the safety. To manage that, this is what is Atom to Universe story. There are a total of 25 projects from anything that can go wrong to cause a fire. 85% of the fires, ladies and gentlemen, happen because of electrical failures. If we manage our fires well, if we manage our processes and systems well, the chances of we losing people or losing assets is minimized, and that's navigating business challenges because we give them safe and secure environment. We have the methodology to do that because we are a large group. I'm sure you people have your own tools. Within that group, what we do, we first analyze ourselves and say we are fine on a checklist. Then we go back to a Tata Group company which is in the same geography to say, Tata Motors, can you please come and check? In a place like Bangalore, Tata Global Beverages, can you please come and check? Then within the team, Bombay team comes and checks Calcutta, and a Calcutta team comes and checks Madras. 3-tier service has already happened, and then we go down to a third-party service provider to now do our check. A, his inventory is minimized, cost to company of getting that audit is minimized, and the success levels right of maintaining a safe environment goes up. So hence, run all of these if you want to run right as a project. This is some of the things that we do. Assessment drives are typically not done in a week. In a year, they are done on a randomly selected basis to check the robustness of the systems that we run. Benchmarking, ladies and gentlemen, all of us talk about. But what we did was we first said, let's look at within the group, are we somewhere or not, and we had the group companies supporting us to do benchmarking. We got a little comfortable doing what we were doing. We went outside the Tata Group in the year 2014, 2015, I'm taking you. 2016, 2017, we tried to repeat it, and we continue to repeat this 17, 18 years in front of you. You learn a lot if you want to learn. Tools are available, systems are available, processes are available. It is the inclination which is sometimes missing. This is the most important thing I learned. I always go back and tell you from one of my ex-bosses, right, who told me roti, kapra and makan, right, are 3 important things, but if you don't have the 4th pillar of communication, you will fail. And this is where the gift wrapping happens. Not that the facts are played with, the gift wrapping is done of what we are doing, and we use these tools. Podcast is a tool I speak about. Whenever I speak, it costs you 4,000 rupees. The reach is thousands and thousands of PC monitors or laptops that your employees use. You only have to speak like a newspaper, the newsreader, right? And communicate the message. Message reaches through the link. The cost is minimal. Try using a podcast and a webcast pattern and you will be able to do that. Do a communication plan, because if you don't have a plan, you obviously would not be able to do that. That's the plan, monthly plan. But if we are smart, try to break it into a weekly plan. What I normally speak about is, if you don't have your 90-day plan, you cannot have your 1YP. If you don't have your 1YP, you cannot have your 3YP. And if you don't have your 3YP, you can't speak about your 5YP. So see as to what is the elbow spaces that you are getting to make a 90-day plan. Right, if you have that kind of a vision, but my company allows me to be participating in a 3 years, which is called the 3 years midterm business plan, MTBP. Because of the 3-year perspective, I think a little ahead and we make a 5YP, and that is why a 90-day plan, a quarter plan, a 1YP plan, a 3YP plan, and a 5YP plan helps us. We are also like business, and that is where we navigate business challenges. Last 3 slides. Some of the people typically come back and tell me, Mr. Sharma, you spoke well. Thank you. But it is difficult to do it. And on that account, then I used to show a Nick video. If some of you know Nick, Nick is a Polish guy who typically doesn't have his arms and legs. Go home and see it today. Today, that's not the video. I looked at this video. And why I want to show that to you is the reason. We are all at 211 degrees. Look at it from that perspective. And then you will understand the word 211. It is that 212 that is missing. And our endeavor as leaders is only to go ahead and do that. And this is the last video that I would want to show you. Ladies and gentlemen, right, the potential is huge sitting in this room. The ingredients are there sitting in this room. It is up to us to leverage ourselves, because once we know how to leverage ourselves, our teams will follow, our companies will follow, and we will be successful, much beyond the expectations of the business communities that we support. Because the only irritation I used to have while I am part of the fraternity was when some of us are told, Rakesh, but my company uses me as a doormat. They typically use me as if I'm an extra stepney. That's in here. If you are able to prove to the company that you are worth more than what they think to be, only a taxi provider, service provider, right, they will typically make you sit in the boardrooms. Some of us who are sitting in here today are members of the board of different companies that we represent. And they're all sitting on my left, and as I told you, they are all my members. Thank you so much for your patience and time. I've taken this beyond 5 minutes of my slotted time. But God bless you. Remember being ambitious. Thank you so much.